I like listening to rappers who are coming up and just seeing when you listen to rappers with hunger and they still want to prove themselves. It's just fresh. It's nice. It's like a lemon. It's like a lemon squeeze over a fish finger. Um,
You heard it here first. It's a lemon squeeze
Over
over
a
a fish finger.
finger. Yeah. So anyway, it's
Yo, what's up? And welcome to episode 79 of the 30% podcast, also known as the greatest podcast in the land, hosted by yours truly, Afam, and my amazing co-host, Sam. Sam, what's up?
what's going on. Hello.
Yo, if you want to follow Sam, you can follow him on his own personal Instagram account at Are is late to the party.
Double
That's
ARE.
Are is late to the party. You can follow me at _Afamefuna. You can follow the podcast on social media at the 30% pod on Instagram, on X, on Threads, on TikTok, and LinkedIn if you're trying to link and build. You can also stream this podcast on your preferred streaming platforms, which include YouTube, YouTube Music, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Rest in peace to Google Podcasts. And for that, all you need to do is type in the magic letters, the 30% podcast. That's 30% podcast. Sam, what's up? How you been? How's your week?
You know, this week I realized that people actually do listen to the podcast on Google Podcast. Like there's I was talking to someone like I listened to it on Google Podcast and I was like, but it's dying. It's dying, and so I don't know whether your podcast is going to be okay. I'm like, we'll be okay. They're just moving to YouTube Music because
yeah, we'll be fine.
What's up? I'm doing good. I'm chilling. I am.
What did you get up to, man?
What did I do this week? This week was mostly just work. So just working. Tuesday I got to go. I went down to Geco Cafe.
Nice.
Matt Ngesa was playing. I wanted to go see that. I'd planned to go with some people, but they bailed. You know yourselves.
They Christianed you.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that was horrible.
No, that was witty fire.
Very witty. No, it was witty, but it was horrible. Anyway, I hope it hasn't gone over our listeners' heads. So I did that. It was a good show. Got there early and still struggled. I get anxiety when I go for shows. Just because it's not that I want to get a good place to sit. I don't care because I'm not going there to look at the people performing. I'm going there to listen to them perform. But just getting seats. Sometimes you go there, and Geco Cafe tends to be like a date spot. So there's a lot of people with their loved ones and significant others, and the people they're cheating with, and all of them, and they're all cuddled.
Wait, what?
all cuddled up and just being lovey-dovey, staring into each other's eyes like, yo, you guys are not even listening to Matt. Matt is playing. Can we listen to Matt, please? So it was cool. I found a place to sit by myself in the center, being looked at by everyone, which is always awkward, but I made it through. I didn't stay for the whole show. Didn't want to get rained on.
How long was the show?
I don't know how long it was. I stayed maybe an hour and a half. Okay. So I want to say maybe 2 hours, 2 hours to 2.5 hours. I don't think it was that long.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I left before it ended. So nice. Yeah, that was dope. That was really cool. I don't remember what I did. It was just errands. That's for the weekend working. Got rained on. That was fun.
Yeah.
And I was outside yesterday, which was fun also. Yeah, we're here. Very interesting life I have. What about you, man?
Well, we here, man. My week was pretty low key. Obviously I was
Super
unwell the
low
last
key.
podcast, so I have
Yeah.
been recovering, so I'm feeling better now. My week was kind of dominated by the release. So we were building up to a release with my artist Foster Nix. We dropped a single called Prism, which came out last Friday.
Yeah.
Check that out. I produced that. Well, we co-produced it. This was when I was out in New York. It's really one of my favorite songs I've done with Foster to date. And the reception has been good, man. He's been showing me like a few messages he's been getting and stuff like that, and it's really very um inspiring to see that
Yeah.
people actually listen to the music. So yo, if you want to listen to Prism by
It's a
Foster
banger too.
Dix,
And
listen.
I'm not just saying it because I know the guys, but
You're my
that's my
podcast
joint.
mate. You actually mean that, Sam? Do you
That's
really mean that?
that's my I actually do. That's my joint. This is my kind of music.
Thank you.
I like
Thank you.
listening to pop. Pop is fun.
Oh yeah. It's poppy, it's house, it's but it's still in line with what you expect from Foster, kinda.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's available on all streaming platforms. Aside from the release, yeah, that's kind of been how my week has kind of played out. So just kind of also figuring out the marketing aspect.
Oh
Um
gosh.
it's horrible. It's so
Marketing, man.
horrible,
Yo.
man.
Shout out
Especially
to
if you
everyone who
have
does
if you
marketing. And you guys are the ones.
listen, marketing is not bad if you have a budget. If you have like a big budget at your disposal, then it's cool. If you have a limited budget, now you have to start getting creative, and that's where things now become really like intense in terms of like just thinking about what to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
if you have a big budget, then you're like, I just spend this on influencers, spend this on social media
Oh
marketing.
man.
You know what it's
Yeah.
so easy. Like spend this on
Feed the
shooting a
machine.
visual.
Yeah.
If you have a budget at your disposal, it's cool. If you don't,
You have to get creative.
man, now you have
I
to
mean, but you
just
don't
figure out
really have to get creative though. All you need to do is just hop on TikTok and just copy. Just copy what you do, what you see people
you
doing.
think that's it's trust me, bro. I've been on TikTok this whole week, Sam. It's not as easy as you think. Going viral is not easy. Like, okay, it's easy and it's not. But I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. There's a lot that
That's
goes
all
on
that
to posting
matters,
on
Afam.
TikTok. You have to understand. You have to understand search engine optimization.
Yeah.
So you have to know like what
SEO.
like, and then also
Yeah.
you have to be chronically online to know what's trending at the time. And you also have to realize if you're trying to push your music on TikTok, you have to do it in such a way that it doesn't seem like you're pushing your music on TikTok, because once it seems like that's what you're doing, nobody wants to pay attention. So how do you do that without actually having enough money to like
Wait,
pay
whoa.
influencers to
That's annoying. So we have to appear to be inorganic, appear to be
You have to
organic
appear to
while
be
being in.
organic.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah. The internet is annoying.
Essentially,
Tired of the
that's
internet.
the game. That's the game. And it's so annoying. Like, just listen to my music because it's good, not because like I've made a fancy TikTok. So now you have to figure out what you have at your disposal. Now, if you're artist, or if you're an artist who's really happy to be on TikTok and show yourself a lot, like
Yeah.
there are artists I follow who like are on TikTok all the time.
Yeah.
Before the song drops, they're previewing it every day. They're making funny TikToks. They're doing content. They're hopping on other people's sounds. That's great. Now, if that's not who you are,
Yep.
it's a bit hard
That's where it
to
gets
like
tricky.
figure out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and like for me in my example, Foster isn't really like the person to be on TikTok all the time. So we have to figure out tasteful ways for him to do so, or other ways for us to like exist on TikTok. Listen, if you guys want to hear more about me talking about TikTok marketing as far as I have discovered or uncovered it, you just need to subscribe to my Patreon. I'm charging
Man, you don't have no Patreon. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Afam doesn't have a Patreon. It's just he's trying to
I
get money
don't.
from you. Man, being a
But yeah,
Nigerian.
anyway, so that's a whole different world. Maybe I can talk about it like in another podcast.
No,
But
yeah,
like,
it's pretty interesting.
yeah,
And
going viral is
finding out
not
how to
fun
do
as
it.
it sounds.
Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I'm just saying, going viral isn't as glorious.
It's not. Yeah, it's not
as
fun.
It sounds.
It's not fun work. It's not fun.
It's not, man.
Very
Especially
easy to
when
look
you've already
cringy
done
on that
all
joint.
the work. So easy, man. But like, I've just been
yeah.
learning how to edit videos and stuff like that. And honestly, I don't have it in me. I don't know if I have it in me to keep on doing these edits and stuff like that, bro. It's fun. It's just like, bro, I like
Yeah.
the music, man.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be here, like, but that's what the music industry is today, anyway. So
Anyway.
speaking of music industry, this is a music industry podcast where we review things that happened in the Kenyan music industry. So Sam, what was happening in the Kenyan music industry this week?
There was not much that happened this week. Like I was online looking, searching, like apart from so there's two people might go online and say, oh, but this happened in the music industry. There's a difference between gossip and just like sensationalized news and people talking about who
Yeah.
they've broken up with and artists, and then there's like news that actually has to do with the music industry and it's building or destroying or the fabrics of the music industry, things that have to do with that. And that kind of news is not very fun. It's often boring, except when it's MCSK's shenanigans, and a few other things. So you have to really look sometimes. This week was
Well, I
no.
did see an interesting article.
No.
So I saw apparently Otile was on a platform talking about how there are no international acts out of East Africa. So essentially he said he claimed that there are no international artists in the East African region. And he was like, yo, there's really no one out here who I can consider an international act. He said an international title is something we have to fight for because right now the industry is stuck.
Yeah.
Let nobody tell you that there is an international artist in East Africa. We are all on the ceiling. There is no international artist. So a few people were not happy online, obviously, for him saying this, including KRG the Don, who apparently wants to run for parliament.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway, so some
might win.
people said, okay, how about Sauti Sol, man? You know, Sauti Sol are pretty international, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, when you say Sauti Sol, a lot of people kind of point to Bien as this, like, I don't know, it's kind of like the leader at this point. And so Bien kind of says, yo, leave me out of this. Like, I don't want to be involved in this debate. He goes on record saying, I really don't care if I go international or not. It's not my business. Let people do the work. And if it's if it's about who is going to take Kenyan music to the international level, please leave me out of it. Let everyone carry their own cross. He also says, I was born to make music and I will do it till I die. Whether I become an international artist or not, that's not my problem. That's up to you. In the public is who he's saying by you. And he says, I sing because it makes me happy. I sing because I love to express myself, and that's what's important to me. And I want to say that I think he responded to this perfectly. That's exactly how you should respond. Now, does Bien want to be international? Of course he wants to be international.
My cap bells are ringing. I'm just like, hey, whoa, big deal. Especially when it says like it's up to you. It's not up to the fans, bro. You're the one who's what do you call
No.
You're building your
Obviously,
career.
we know Bien. Obviously, we know Bien is doing everything in his
He's just
power
tired. He doesn't want to be in the
become an
blogs,
international
man. Bro, he's
act.
tired. He's just tired. He doesn't want to be
But
talked
yeah,
about.
it's just like, it's so corny to be in the blogs that you're trying to like go back and forth with like some guys over, oh, are you international or not? Like, that's corny. So you have to shut that down and say, yeah, I love singing. I'm doing my own thing. Whatever you guys want to say, you say it.
Yeah,
I think the way he approached that is fire. What do you think, Sam? Do you think there are any international acts from East Africa?
Do we have, okay, now here's where we start getting a little bit serious. Do we have international? I think we Yes, we have international acts currently. But I
Like
think
who? Like Diamond.
are we talking about the whole of East Africa or Kenya? Just Kenya.
Well, East Africa, what are the biggest names? Like Diamond, there's Harmonize.
Diamond, Harmonize. Who else is from there? Diamond, Harmonize.
Sauti Sol is the biggest name here.
Yeah. Is that it?
Damn, the list is, I'm not. Okay, let's talk
That
about
can't
Kenya.
be it.
Let's talk about
Yes,
Kenya.
please. I don't want to get in trouble again with those guys. We love y'all. Kenya, we currently have Bien, who desperately doesn't want to engage in this, but he's actually currently leading that probably. We have some of the R&B, new R&B ladies.
We do.
I mean, you'll consider Xenia international, right? To an extent.
Would I consider Xenia an international act? That's a great question. Do I?
Yeah.
She does appeal to like the international market, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well,
what is an international
exactly
act, though?
Yeah,
like
she does shows out there.
Okay, go ahead.
She works with producers and engineers and stuff from out there also. So I mean, that would fall into the category of an international act, I would say.
Well, it depends on how you look at international. So for me, when I hear the term international act, well, yeah, Pink Panthers is an international act for sure. Because like her music is wide reaching. Like they listen to her in Asia, they listen to her in Africa, they listen to her in Australia, they listen to her in Europe.
That was a joke, by the way.
America
You're overanalyzing. That was a joke.
Sorry. Guy, I really went.
You ran with this.
I ride for my girl.
I know.
Like I ride for Pink Panthers, man. Yeah. Trust me. But like for me, when I hear the term international act, I feel like I also equate it with success to a level. Now, I'm not saying like the example that you gave that Xenia isn't successful. I feel like she's also still growing. So does she have the potential to be an international act? 100%. I think she is on the way to being an international act. Would I say she's an international act now? Maybe not. Not yet. I don't know if I make sense. Am I right in this?
I feel like I feel like success for me won't be. I think success matures at the different stages you are. So you could be like a small artist, but then you could have success as a small artist. Because for you to be a bigger artist, you have to be successful at being a smaller artist. So I feel like if we'd break that whole international act down into small pieces and apply it to wherever they are, maybe we could find out. Like for Xenia, I just feel like she's out there, right? She's out there. She's doing a lot of music. She has little successes outside shows and being put on by podcasts and stuff like that. So she's successful, even if it's not the grand international act, Billboard, what do you call it, marquee tours and all that business, but she does have a little bit of success. And other artists.
But that's why I was saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you see, from your argument, that makes sense if you're breaking down the term international act and then like applying it to wherever stage an artist is in their career. That's what I'm saying. But for me, when I hear the term international act, you're
thinking big,
like I'm thinking big.
Okay.
I'm thinking you're going on tours, you're doing this and that. So, like, yes, your argument makes sense. But for me, when I hear the term international act, that's what I think about.
So what level would an artist have to be for you to consider them successful?
Then let's go through this then. What do you think are the factors that go into becoming an international act? From my perspective, I think the first factor that really goes into it is PR. Now, I think your PR needs to be really, really, really far reaching. So like you look at, shout out to Irasta. We talk about Irasta a lot. My dad listens to this podcast and he says, you guys only talk about a few names. Irasta, Bien, Nyashinsky, who else? Like he says those are names we always mention on the podcast. I know,
doing our best
I felt
here.
so called out.
Thank you though. We appreciate the feedback.
So you look at Ira Star, and this is why I'm saying, like, for me, when I hear the term international act, my instinct is to kind of like go more towards the, okay, you're like doing bigger things. So you look at Ira Star, um, in terms of PR, like I feel like they have been doing massive PR for her like the whole year.
Yeah.
Like ever since Commas came out, like she's been on an
Comma,
insane PR run.
comma, comma, comma.
Commas, commas, commas. Anyway, um, you've seen her on, like, for me, I don't know
You've seen
why
her.
this
She's
is
been
like a
everywhere, bro.
gauge.
She's been everywhere.
She's been like you've seen, okay, you've seen her on, and this is also kind of like marketing, but you saw her in Paris Fashion Week. We talked about that,
Yeah.
right? We've seen her on, I saw her on Kiss Fresh with Henry, and shout out Henry. If you're ever listening to this podcast,
Yo,
man,
yo, yo, yo. We're not doing,
shout out
we're
to
not doing
you,
that.
man.
Afam. No, we're
No,
not.
no, no, no.
We're not doing that. No, no, no,
no,
no.
Henry. No, listen,
Afam, we're not
listen.
doing
I'm
that.
a fan of Henry's
Yeah,
work.
I know you're a
man.
fan.
Listen, I'm a
I know you're a
fan.
fan. Yeah, definitely a
I'm a
fan. Just
massive fan. I'm a massive
my
fan of Henry.
goodness.
Anyway, whenever
a
I
bird.
see people on Henry's
Yeah.
show, I'm like, yo, like they're actually, because like anybody goes on that show at one point in the music industry, man. She's been with Thames, she's been with Tyler, she's been with everyone. Like everyone goes onto that show, and obviously Ira Star was on that show, and I'm just like, yeah, you can see they're spending money on the with the PR budget, putting her with these people in this like positions where like you can see her face.
Yeah.
Thames, for example, we've seen Thames on the chicken shop date with Amelia.
There's like a
Dimon
genre
Sohani. So
of shows that are not necessarily radio, but are like artist friendly.
but
Yeah. So it's that kind
yeah,
of thing.
like these are, I know this sounds like trivial, but like these are some of those things that kind of put you in the international conversation. You see Ira with Rihanna, you see Ira in studio with Chris Martin from Coldplay. You see her in studio. She even mentioned she was in studio with Jaden Smith.
Yeah.
Now,
That's a wild one
I know
too.
that like it's
Jaden.
weird. And for me, I never used to get this. I never used to get it. I was like, I used to see celebrities they're in studio together or something, or like a celebrity is front row of a basketball game,
Yeah.
or they're like in the NFL, they're in the box NFL,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
there's a big deal, or they're in Fashion Week, or they've gone for the Met Gala or something like that. I used to see these things and I never used to draw any correlation. I was just like, okay, this is just a celebrity doing celebrity
Once you start doing the
things.
science.
But once you start doing the science and you realize, oh shit,
Yeah.
all this is just like coming up, like it's building up to like the product, which is the music. Like you see now she's released music.
Yep.
Oh, you think Don Jazzy is spending a bag for Ira Star to go to Paris just for her to go to Paris
for the
and
music.
have those looks?
It's
No,
so that we
all
can
this,
put
all
more eyes
this is
on
about
her.
the music.
Yeah, so when music drops,
Yeah.
all those eyes hopefully translate into plays, and those plays translate into money, and that money translate into getting your investment back.
recouped
Yep.
back into the label. Yeah, because unfortunately human beings are sheep, and I see Ira Star is with Rihanna, I see Ira Star is in studio with Jaden, I see she's in studio with Chris Martin. I'm gonna be like, wait, that raises my perception of who Ira Star
it pulls.
is.
Yeah, it pulls. I feel like it just pulls them up
Yeah.
from the level and just like when we saw Rema again. Rema is the other example because Don Jazzy he's doing some work over there. And we started seeing Rema with standing with people like Omarion and them, and just very outlandish American
Exactly.
artists. It's just like and for some reason it's. I mean, when we say international, a lot of it's a big chunk of the cake is America, because that's where the industry is. Like
It's America.
yeah, we don't see.
And partly Europe.
Yes, partly, very very small, partly, but partly. Anyway, sorry, continue.
And that's why I was saying like all these things, they play a role in you kind of establishing that international status, because like people are having conversations about you even outside of your country. And like these people have PR budgets. Sam, I know you were telling me this, we can't really disclose this on the podcast, but you were telling me of a very famous, or well, he's a PR guru in the
Yeah.
country, and he was showing you like a PR plan for like like an artist in Nigeria, and it's just like, listen, like these guys have
They
PR
do
plans
exactly.
to
Yeah.
be for Kenya. Like you have a PR plan for
They do.
Kenya,
They
but
have
you're
PR
not
plans for
even
regions.
here. You know what I
Yes, there's
mean?
a PR plan for here. There's
Yeah.
one for South Africa. There's one, and there's different people running that. And then there's like a head PR guy probably where the artist is. Like it's a whole machine to get someone in front of your face. It's crazy.
It's so much work. So for me, PR is one of them. Marketing kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Like I said, putting you in with putting Thames with Amelia, putting you on the front row, putting you in Fashion Week. That's also marketing. Like all that just kind of plays
Plays
a
into
role
it.
into like you,
For sure.
into you selling albums and
For sure.
moving
For sure.
units.
And
Another thing.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
no,
Go
no.
ahead.
I was actually about to get into another one. Because I think you touched on it.
Oh,
touched
yeah.
on it a bit.
Let's get into the
You
other
touched on
one.
it a bit with the
Yeah.
earlier talking about the music, and then now talking about albums and all that stuff. So
The
it sounds
music.
very trivial,
Yes.
obviously, because it's like, okay, this is a musician, so like the music is. But then for you to be an international artist, you do have to make music that in some way, or package the music in a way that it will appeal to an international audience. If you're making music that's
100%.
hyper local, if it's not now, this gets technical because we have like bands who make like traditional music and stuff, but it still appeals to the local, appeals to the international audience because they are selling like their culture or selling something like that. So there's something that there's
Yep.
a way they've packaged it. So it's how you package your music. You can't make music that's okay. Sorry. There's different things that are involved within that. How the music sounds and the type of collaborations you get on the track, right? The features and
Exactly.
both features meaning both
And the
artists
production.
and production, right? And
Yes.
things like that, and then just how you present the art, your music videos, your album art sometimes might play into that, maybe not as much, but it's stuff like that. So just
I mean, just to just to add on to that, like you see, like Tyler releasing the video with Ghana,
Yeah.
right? And you saw the whole thing about them working together
Mhm,
and all that type of stuff. Like that's what makes you feel like, okay, she's an international act. Like, okay, you're seeing her with all these names.
yeah.
Like, and production wise as well, like you look at an album, you see who's in the credits, man. Like international producers, like your song is being touched by so many like different, like, you know, names who are
like when you see again,
prominent,
bring it
in
back to
their
Arista.
respective industries.
Yes, bring it back to Arista. We saw as part of her rollout, which has been happening for a minute now. She got on a song with Calvin Harris. Was it Calvin Harris? Calvin Harris and Lil Durk, I think. She got on a song with
Oh, really?
yeah, she dropped a
That's
single
hard.
with Raul Alejandro, I think that's his name. Or man, I'm butchering his name. And Russian, Latin America, you know. And she's, so it's more, there's a real effort to get features that expand your audience. And if you look at her album,
I mean, yeah,
if you look at her album,
Go ahead, sorry.
I don't know if that was the point you're trying to make, but if you look at her album,
it was.
yeah,
It was.
the album she just released, that song, the one with the Latin America collaboration, Latin America features, is the highest streaming with like by a mile, right? So that's like that's an effort to do that. We see Rema. Actually, no, Rema is a different story. But
even before we go to Rema, like even on that same album, I mean, you see this Anita as well.
Yeah.
Right? Coco Jones. She's also collabed with Giveon.
Yeah.
Like, bro,
these are recognizable names.
She's out here,
there,
like,
right?
Yeah.
So that's part of it. All that to say is that part of
listen,
it. Yeah.
I just want to say this. I want to put a caveat here. Are we saying that this is what you need to do as an artist? No. And we're not saying this is, I'm just saying this is kind of like just what gives that perception of you being an international artist.
Yeah.
You can be an international artist without relying on these things. But I feel like for that to happen, this might even get us into the luck conversation. Well, not luck, but like, you could go viral and become an international artist, like Sophia Nzao. I think Sofian Zhao is actually an international. You can say she's an international act in
Oh, that's
some
an
regard.
interesting one. That's an interesting one.
Because she went super super viral. Like everyone was talking about her. She was popping on TikTok. Like everybody in
But would you
Europe,
consider someone
in
an
South
international
America.
artist of one song? Because that was one song that really put her
I
on the
mean,
map.
if your name is recognizable internationally, then yes, I would. Like you can be a one hit wonder and then become international. It's happened.
That's true.
So I
Which
feel
she
like
isn't. That's
her,
not what we're
like,
saying.
and then obviously now, no, but even with the
Yeah.
remixes that have come out of like the Major Lazer and
Yeah.
everything,
Okay, that makes sense.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
yeah. But you see, I feel like Sofian Zhao's scenario is a very, very,
It's a
very
unicorn, right?
extremely rare. Like
That's a
that
unicorn
happens.
career.
That's a unicorn, bro. Even the way that whole song came about and went
Yeah.
viral, it's so it doesn't happen
It does
every
not
day. You
happen.
can try and
It does
recreate.
not
You can
happen.
try and recreate what that happened.
Yeah.
You can't
Wait, it
recreate
happens
it.
a
You'll
lot in
be
producers'
recreating it
heads,
for like
not in real life.
yeah, in my head,
Yeah,
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 but
yeah.
like, is it gonna happen in real
No,
life?
probably not.
No. So we're kind of telling you how it typically tends to
Exactly.
happen. Like, there obviously there are examples outside of what we are saying, but we're just kind of looking at what typically
Generally happens,
tends
yeah.
to happen, or how the industry goes about manufacturing an
International artist.
international.
So yeah, that's
act.
music. What's another?
I was
another
thinking
joint?
also tours. Like now, I mean, obviously, to be an international act,
You have to tour internationally.
to tour internationally.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
I mean, duh. So, again, looking at Ira Star, of course, like she's touring with Chris Brown, which I feel like
Oh
it's an
no.
interesting choice
Yeah.
being made there. But
I don't know
I
about
mean,
Chris.
it
Breezy.
puts her in front of like an
It does for sure.
international
Oh, for sure. For
audience,
sure.
considering Ira Star is from Nigeria, right? We saw the Madaraka Festival. I mean, that would put like those names that were supposed to be
Yeah.
there in the international conversation, especially if they were able to like draw an international audience. But you see, the thing about touring internationally, what am I trying to articulate here? I feel like there's a difference between Madaraka
Yeah.
Festival and Ira Star touring with Chris Brown. Because Ira Star touring with Chris Brown, the audience is primarily Chris Brown's audience, which is an American audience. Now, Madaraka Festival
Yeah.
appeals to the diaspora, which is in America.
I mean,
so you're
that's
not
yeah.
really like, yes, there's going to be a few like people there who are like American or just from everywhere else, but mostly you're kind of like performing. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You're performing to the diaspora.
I do.
So
I mean, we
it's
don't.
people who
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. We don't know what the Madaraka Festival goal was. Yeah. So I don't know whether do you or do we know?
But I know for a
Yeah.
fact Madaraka Festival is founded by a Kenyan,
Yes.
right? Who's based out
Yeah.
there, right? And I feel like what they appeal to, because there's a huge market for the diaspora here who want to, well, in America, who want to listen to music from back home. Huge market. Trust me, it's huge. But so my argument is you're not really performing to an audience that's completely
Yeah.
like oblivious of your art. They
New
already
audience.
know
A
of
new
you.
audience. Yeah.
It's just that, yeah, it's exactly. It's just that they don't have access to you because they're
Yeah.
abroad, as opposed to like having a whole entire audience of foreigners. Do you get what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense.
It does. I mean, yeah. I guess so. I would think that there might be. I mean, there's definite balance there. There's for sure people them marketing like diaspora people who are familiar with the names but are just in different parts of the world. But I would think, let me just say this, I would think that they would want to market it to new audiences, right? Because it doesn't make sense just doing a show outside for people who without getting like new fans. I would think that would be an added.
No, you'd hope
Yeah.
you'd hope for it's an added bonus. But I'm telling you, bro, primarily whenever they say they're doing shows abroad, they're primarily doing. This is from experience. They're primarily doing it to the diaspora that's here.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, because like I'm not gonna lie, like most of the foreign, like there will be like foreigners in the audience. That's a plus, and so you will get like new listeners and new ears to your music, but they're not the majority. That's just my only
I mean, yeah,
like
for sure.
argument. They're not
For
the
sure. For sure.
majority.
Um,
Yeah. So whenever you hear like a Kenyan is performing
Yeah.
abroad, it's mostly to the diaspora. It's not it's not the other way around. It's not majority
diaspora
foreign
and their
then
friends.
minority diaspora.
The friends they bring along
It's
from work.
majority diaspora and then
Yeah.
their friends they bring along. Exactly.
But I mean, yeah, it's again, it's probably, and this will lead, I guess, into the next thing about that. It's probably how you market it, right? Because you could market it to for example, if we're talking about Madaraka Festival, you could market the artists to the diasporans, or you could market them to like a new people with. It depends on how. It's just how you present it. Marketing is the other thing that could put you in that international conversation. Again, since we're using Arasta as an example, man, these guys have gone really hard on her marketing. They have done
So
a lot. You've seen how with everyone, the shows that Afam was talking about, we've seen her on there. We've seen her walking with taking pictures with big artists. Marketing is really just putting, and we've had a talk about this in the previous episode, it's just putting whatever it is in front of your face so that you pay attention to it. So it really depends on. So
exactly.
marketing to the international audience means you start associating that artist with international acts and in international spaces, international shows, international
Yes.
being features on songs and all that business. It's all part of the package, but then marketing usually is a thing on its own.
Package, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if you have anything to add on that. Yeah, class.
So do we have that right now? Everything that we've just talked about, do we as a country have that?
We have elements of it. I don't think we have it fully. I don't think we have an artist. I don't think we have an artist who you can tell is like that's the goal, to be an international artist. Like Bien said, he's just a lot of artists here. Listen, I'm just trying to make music, bro. I'm just.
But I think Bien is the closest.
Yeah,
he's the closest.
Yeah. He's the closest. He's the one running the farthest away from it. But we have artists who we see they could be, right? They have the sound. They have there's artists with different elements. It's like bingo. Like we don't have the whole bingo card.
The whole
out.
Yeah.
But we do have some of them. It takes, and of course now it's going to take a lot of people with teams. Just curating your team well. We recently saw what's bro's name? What's bro's name? He just left Soul Generation. I'm blanking. Nviri. Recently saw Nviri trying to take on a team that looks like they could be pushing for an international.
Yes.
So it takes that, like being intentional about pushing.
Which sparks the question, like, to be an international artist, do you also need international like artist
management
services, like from whether it's management, whether it's distribution, whether it's PR?
Distribution would be huge.
You kind of do
for the music, right?
Yeah.
You need to be distribution would be huge.
I think you kind of do.
You do. No, for sure.
Because you have to be talking. Because even if it's just if you're just talking about something as simple as playlisting, like the playlisters who are based out in America or in Europe, like you have to have somebody on the ground to kind of tell them, yo, by the way, we have this artist who's dropping. Maybe you want to put them on your playlist over here. So you do need international like
distribution. You need a team that's purposefully thinking about putting you in an international space. And they don't have to be international people, of course. You don't have to go and grab people from there. It's just whoever you have has to have that mindset of, okay, we're trying to push this artist past our borders, kind of thing.
And that's why for me I say Zinnia is on the way to being that, because obviously, even if you see the way that they move, like her manager isn't really based in Kenya. So like they are, it's really kind of hard to like scale up to that level if that's your goal,
Yes.
if you're like primarily just very hyper local. But that being said, I
Hyper
don't think
local.
being an international artist is the end
No,
all be
it's
all
not.
of like being
It's
in the
not
music
a.
industry. It's
It's
not.
it's a
It's
type of
not.
success. It's not the only type of success, right? You can be successful as a local
Exactly.
artist.
It's a type of
Yeah,
success.
yeah.
Exactly. And for a lot of people, they're absolutely fine with that. And by the way, there's absolutely nothing wrong with like,
Yeah, I mean, there's people who have
doing
great
what you do for
careers
your.
who have not seen a show in wherever. So
Exactly.
anyway,
Interesting.
super talk.
Yeah. Well, what a conversation. Yeah. If I
Where
do say so
else?
myself.
Where else? Where else would you get such deep dives?
Nowhere else can you get such succinct, poignant, and meaningful
Poignant.
conversations.
I don't know, but that word it's just a weird word to me. Poignant. Poignant.
I
Anyway,
know. I guess there wasn't
not
really
much
much
happened, bro.
happening on the news.
Unless we want to
So
jump into
we could
who
go.
who
We
had
could
a
go.
baby with who and who broke up with you. Would you like to know about that, Afam? Because boy, do I have some news for you.
No thanks.
Oh,
I'm good.
did you see Dave Chapelle was in
I'd rather
Kenya?
talk about new music. I did. Shout
That
out
was
to Dave.
that was the most quiet entry I've ever had. Is it? Has the show
I
happened?
know, but that's his MO. When it did,
Yeah.
it did. It happened. When I heard it was happening, I had no doubts it was happening because I had some people like when the news broke. I had some people who were like, "Nah, this is coming." I was like, "Nah, this is like because that's how Dave Chapelle moves. He likes to do random things like this." And I was like, "This is it perfectly."
Yeah.
In his like lexicon of whatever. It's dope. There's no recorded footage of
I
it.
do like
like
that.
nobody
Come to my
knows
show
what
and
was
listen to
said
me.
or whatever.
Don't
Yeah, and that's
be
fire.
pulling out your phone, please.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how it should be.
That's
so
dope,
I
though.
can't wait to see this. If there's gonna be a special and like they include the footage from that, I can't wait to see it. But like it's dope. I like it. Shout out to Mr. Dave Chapelle.
Mr. Dave Chapelle. Yeah, man. Do we get into music?
New music, Sam.
Let's do it.
Yeah, maybe I can go first. I was thinking. Oh yeah. I need to shout out this project because I forgot to shout it out last week. This is His Streets, which is an album by Chevy Kev and Njiru. So shout out to them for their release. Want to also shout out in the same realm. Lucorito released Agent Mgumbe 3. Shout out to Lucorito.
That was good. I enjoyed listening to that. That was an instrumental.
Yeah.
Instrumental.
You'd know him.
Heavy.
Most people would know his. Yeah, most people would know his work from Maya Molo. He works a lot with Maya Molo. So if you listen to their to her music, you've definitely had his production. So new music, My Paradise by Karun. So she's gonna release like a full length project with Hook and GR exclamation point. So My Paradise is one song on there. So shout out to them. There was Skies Have Cleared by Mrumbi and Leah April. So that came out. Mrumbi was doing his thing as always. There was Virgin Denim by Turunesh, Karun, and Mao from Nowhere. Shout out to them. Very experimental track, especially with the vocals and everything. Like I was like, "Ooh, this is an experience." There was Ushawai by Meja. His storytelling, as always, is
That's
on
his
par
thing, yeah.
with what it's always been, and he always has a tendency to make bangers. Do you think Meja needs to kind of like because I feel like he's released a bunch of music that sounds it's very Meja. Like, do you think he needs to do anything differently, or should he just like because what he does works and it works very well?
It's I mean, that's a question.
Me as a producer, for me, if I was sending him beats, I'd try and send him
Something
beats that
different.
sound like the old Caliph records. Yeah, like the old. No, I'd like to go back
You
to
want to
the
go
Caliph
back?
records, like sound to the yeah to the old
Are you just trying
sound.
to add?
Because I
This
feel
feels
like
like an
now
ad
he's
for
kind of like.
Afam. This feels like an Afam ad. It's like an Afam ad. You're not slick. You're not slick. I can see what you're doing. Talk about. Do you think he needs to get on old Caliph beats after the past three
Okay, no,
podcasts?
but
No, I'm joking though.
no, but seriously, I feel like you feel the same way. Like
Um,
maybe he needs like
I
a
don't know.
different sound.
I would have to figure out what his goal is. Yeah, because his music does sound very similar in terms of subject matter and just how he presents it. Like he doesn't really step out of the circle, which a lot of people love him for, but he doesn't really step out of that room to do other things. It would be interesting seeing him. I don't know what he would jump on next. But it would be interesting seeing him maybe collaborate. Maybe you could start with collaborating with different artists on different types of sounds and see what's like comfortable and then do that. But maybe he's very, again, he could be just comfortable doing major and there's nothing we can say about it. Right? Ushawahi. It's major.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ushawai. Ushawai why. Then there was I listened to, I'm just gonna shout out two more songs that I listened to. There was music. No, before I even go to that, there was Joy Candy by Groovy Joe. I really like that song. Shout out to Groovy. Groovy has bars for days. And yeah, shout out to everyone at ADF and Keep It Pale. So shout out to Groovy, man, Joy Candy. And then I guess the thing I listened to last was Music to Step To by Mr. Cap Carpenter. It was Cap. Cap moved like Metro, he booming. What else is he known as? Sam, did you know any other monikers for Cap?
Maybe
Anyway,
someone knows him as Mike.
Michael.
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 Mikey.
Mikey. So shout out
Oh.
to Cap. He released Music to Step Two. This is the second project from this, like what do you call it? What do you call it? An edition, no, second edition of his.
I don't know.
What do you call it when somebody has like a bunch of projects that follow the same theme?
Sequel? Do we call them sequels in music?
Yeah, it's the sequel. Is it like a franchise? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, this is the sequel to the first one. So it has 5 songs, all very, very short. The longest song here is 1 minute 49 seconds. I love it.
That's your thing.
Inject that
That's your
into
thing.
my
Yeah.
soul. Inject that into
Yeah,
my
yeah,
veins. I love short songs because I have a really short attention span.
But do you be
Sam,
repeating them?
what do
Because
you
then
think?
it still becomes a long song.
But that's the thing, though. Yeah, you repeat it because it's fire. Do you get what I mean? So it has such it really has such dope replay
I don't
value.
know. I
when
still
your
be old
song
school.
is
Like
short.
give me a list more. Like some of the songs I listened to it and before
did
it
you see-
started, it was fading out. I'm like, bruh, I've not even gotten into. Please, but hey,
Bro,
it's what's going on now though.
Pink Panthers was in the news recently because she said she only makes songs that are like 2 minutes, and she was like, a song does not need a bridge, and she
was absolutely. I saw that.
flamed
Yeah, she was
on
dragged
on the timeline. And Mia was
Oh,
there
man.
like, listen, have you ever like seen somebody express exactly
what? Yeah.
what you think and get flamed, and now you have to just sit there in silence and see them be
You're like, oh man, but I second
like,
that though.
damn. I was like,
those are my
damn.
views too,
Bro, I was like, yeah, but now I couldn't even say anything. I just had
You
to
know,
be
you should
there
have
like,
Afam
yo,
should have been
and I
bold
kinda-
and gone like, hey,
No.
guys, leave her alone. Don't you know this girl is? You should have done a little bit. You're just cowering. Disappointed in you, man. Disappointed.
Anyway, so back to Cap. So this project features Jovi Jove, Gashu, Gazahoti, Varde, Swali Papi, and Ekumbo, as well as Albizi. I really like this. This is my focus project of the week. I really gave this a dope listen. It's what you expect from Cap, starting with the strings in the beginning. Like you can see, bro, like Sam said, He's found contact.
Yo,
Anybody
don't
who's
put me on blast like
producing
that.
knows about contact.
Yo, don't put me on blast like
Listen,
that. That's flame.
no.
No, that's flagrant from you. Don't do that. I didn't say, hey, I
Okay,
didn't say
fine.
that. Okay, now that's a lie. I did say that. Bro found contact.
But yeah, like
contact
you can see,
strings.
Cap is actually like trying to. It's trying to progress, and then obviously every song
Does that sound like
leads into
shade?
the next song. I love that. No, it's not shade.
Okay.
It's not shade. It's just because we understand what's
Yeah.
happening because we are producers as well. The drums are hitting well, but the biggest thing for me that I notice is his mixing in terms of like the vocals is leveling up at a immense pace. So like listen, I don't know what's gonna stop this kid, but like the only thing that's gonna stop his progression is himself. Because like honestly, if he keeps on putting out projects like this, man, he's I don't know. I think his progression
Yeah.
is just gonna be insane. So shout out to that. That's all I listened to this week.
Yep. I just mentioned a couple more. I listened to it's a track by a kid called Bleak Heaven called Brother 2 Freestyle, which is interesting. I guess he's a budding artist. He's a rapper. It was interesting to listen to. I like listening to rappers who are coming up and just seeing when you listen to rappers with hunger and they still want to prove themselves. It's just fresh. It's nice. It's like a lemon. It's like a lemon squeeze over a fish finger.
You heard it here first. It's a lemon squeeze over a fish finger.
Yeah. So anyway, it's that was cool. What else? Maybe not much else. King Kaka and Kip Sang dropped a song called Cheer Up. That was cool. I don't know if you mentioned it. Trio Mio, Furthermore, and Zero Sufuri dropped Rengwa. It was interesting to listen to that from the trio. The trio, including Trio Mio. Look what I did. Umoja Sound stayed dropping music, so that was cool. I always love listening to that. Bridget Blue released a song called Weapon. That was interesting. Bridget, it was interesting. I don't know whether I should put it, maybe, but then she had a song drop in Yashinsky that they took down. I don't know what the deal with that, because now she's releasing other music and she hasn't released that one, even though it released a couple of times. So I don't know what's happening there.
We'll never know.
The case of the lost song. Yes. But that was that. The song I would want to play and highlight, because again I went for his show, Matt Ngesa. Matt Ngesa is incredible, man. His voice is just it sounds very mature. Just how he presents, it's really cool. He released a song called Muse. Now Muse was the song he performed when Colors was here, but I guess we have the studio version now. So it's very incredible, man. It's acoustic. The guitars are on point. The mixing is great. The songwriting, his presentation, it's a really good song. So I just want to highlight that and play that for y'all if Afam would allow. That cool?
What do you mean if I would allow it? I'm not there. What?
I want you to say no so that we can.
That makes it.
Yeah.
That makes me sound like a tyrant. Like nothing moves unless.
Yeah, that's how this podcast is run. I don't know if you guys can hear it. No, I'm kidding. Let's not start that narrative. Because when you start narratives, people just be running with narratives now.
Look at the narrative. Look at the narrative.
No.
Somebody is going to like listen to this.
Then they're like, oh wait, actually hear it. Because even how Afam speaks and how. No, guys, you're wrong. This is Muse by the talented Matt Ngesa.
There's something different in the news. There's something different in the air, barely letting us go. Muse, there's something different in the water. Bodies swimming in it, getting caught up. Barely letting us go. If this is all we have together, hope what we had is enough. La 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 la. Muse, up in your tower, far from me, locked in your tower, kept in your key. Would you let your hair down for me? Let your hair down. There's something tragic in the water. Bodies swimming in it, getting caught up. Would you let your hair down for me? If this is all we have together, I hope what we had is enough. I hope what we had is enough. It's 2 a.m. and I'm barely breathing. It's 3 a.m. I'm searching for meaning. It's 4 a.m. I'm wondering where the sleep is. It's 1 a.m. I'm definitely leaving here again. Muse, there's something different in the news. There's something different in the air, barely letting us go. Letting us go.
That was Muse by Matt Ngesa. Lovely, lovely, lovely sounds. Shout out to Matt, man. He's doing good music, and Matt is the other artist who I think would really go international if he gets like the right team, because he's incredible, man. He's incredible. So
Yeah.
shout out to him.
Shout out to him.
Episode 70.
Yo, 9 down the can, bro. We're really zooming. We zoomed
It's
through
becoming
the
a very long
70s.
can.
That's for sure, man. I can't believe we're in the 80s already. But shout out to you guys for sticking with
Back
us.
to the Future,
all
if you
this
get the
time.
reference.
We wouldn't. I don't. Wait, what?
Now, if I try to, you can't believe we're in the 80s. The 80s is the future, but the 80s is also back. It's a clever pun, but now it's not clever because
Oh, did you say Back to the
Yes.
Future? Oh, I get the reference. Never mind. I was being slow, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so
It's still
sorry
healing.
for being a slow
Yeah,
poke.
yeah.
Just want to say thank you for listening to this podcast and supporting us. We wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for y'all. In keeping with my tradition, I want to just remind you guys the 3 C's, man. Always be confident in your work because confidence is everything. You can be confident and just see all the doors open for you. So shout out to confidence. And then consistency. You have to be consistent. You have to be releasing on a consistent basis. People have to be seeing you consistently. It's just the way the music industry is today because there's so much going on. And
So
if
much.
you decide to stay in the shadows, you will be forgotten. I can tell you for a fact, you will be forgotten. And lastly, your craft. Work on your craft every single day. Just build your craft. Just always strive to improve, like small incremental like improvements are so clutch in this industry and they'll take you they'll take you a long way. They'll take you a far way. What am I saying? Anyway, I'm tired. It's the end of the podcast.
I get what you're saying.
Sam.
No, yeah, I understand. I'm with you, bro. Don't worry. Yeah.
Oh wait, I just remembered something.
Go ahead.
Sam,
This is your platform.
tell me you watched Lord of the Rings. Tell
I
me.
was
if you
hoping
watched
you
Lord
would
of the
bring
Rings.
it up.
If you
So
didn't
that's
watch Lord of the
episode
Rings,
79.
didn't-
No, I thought about watching it, then I did not. The week flew by. This is me giving all the excuses.
You've let us
I have
all down.
no.
Sam, you have. Sam, you know what?
Shame
I'm not
on
even
me, yes.
angry. I'm just
Shame on me.
disappointed.
Shame on me. I know. Shame me. Shame me, please. I agree to be shamed. I procrastinated in watching it because I should have watched it. And maybe I should have listened to the words of Abraham Lincoln, the great philosopher and former I was about to get flagrant. Let me not say that. The great philosopher Abraham Lincoln, when he says, you can't escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. And that's what I did the whole week with Lord of the Rings. So if you guys do not want to be like me,
Oh, that's so smart.
don't procrastinate.
I
Don't
like
escape
that. I
responsibility.
like that.
Get it done. Do the music.
I-
Do the, like Afam said, the 3 C's. Do the 3 C's now. Just get it done. You're not doing much. Get off your phone. Hey, close TikTok. It won't miss you. I promise. Put down the IG. It won't miss you. Get to the music.
You're speaking to me right
Exactly.
now. Sam, you're speaking to me.
Put down. You don't need to refresh
I
Twitter
need to.
every 2 minutes. You've not missed anything
Oh my
major.
God, you're so right.
and people
Amen.
don't be doing anything. They just
Amen.
refresh
Oh
and
my
they don't
God,
even
you're
look.
preaching
Have you
right
noticed
now.
that we don't even look at the posts? We just bookmark them and then look. We're going to get into it later because that's what I do. And I've not gone back to my bookmarks.
Okay, no, I be looking at I look at the post.
I don't know whether that's better or worse.
bookmark much.
That's better. But anyways, man,
It's
listen,
worse, 'cause
get
now
to
I'm
it.
spending
Just
more
get
time.
to doing the thing and stop waiting for
Yeah.
the stars to align before you shine.
Woo, stop waiting for the stars to align before you shine. And with that, we're gonna sign out with this was episode 79 of the podcast.
Yeah, man.
And we shall see you guys on episode 80. We out.